Hello, Algebra 1.5 students. All right, I'll go through these three problems here quick. So this first one here, I'll start out by doing my factoring. Remember, it's still equal to 0. I'll put an x and an x in there. And then I'm thinking, all right, what times what makes 56? That would add up to be 15. I know they're both going to be minus signs in my binomials because this last term is positive. That means they're both the same sign. And then whatever the middle sign is, that's what they're the same sign of. So I've got two negatives in here. 1 and 56, no way. 2 and 28, that's getting closer to 15, but that's 30 if we added those up. 3 doesn't go into 56. 4 does about 14 times. That's getting closer. That's 18 if we would add those up. 5 doesn't go in there, nor does 6, but 7 and 8. And if you think of those right away, you don't have to list these out. I'm just showing you the process if you're having trouble figuring it out. So both of these would be negatives. And then I'm thinking, what minus 7 would make 0? Because if this first binomial is 0, when I multiply it times the second binomial, it's just going to give me 0. It doesn't matter what the second binomial would be. So I'm going to do these little mini equations, setting each of these different terms, each of these two binomials equal to 0, and then stupid line solving. And so I would add 7 and get x to be positive 7, and I would add 8, and I would get x to be positive 8. And that's an OR. So there's two answers with power 2 equations. There's two answers almost every time. Going over here to this next one, I've got a's now, same process though. And for this one now, I've got 1 and 16 as a possibility, 2 and 8, that doesn't work, 4 and 4. Those are off the screen a little bit, sorry. Those work. So there's my winner, just like 7 and 8 were my winner. Both things are positive because this last term is positive and the middle term is positive, and so it's two of these a plus 4s. So if we would do both of them, it would be the same negative 4 answer for both of them. This is what's called a double root. You only need to list one of them for the final answer, but there are two of them. There's just two that are the same. And just so you understand the picture of this, if we go out to negative 4, 1, 2, 3, negative 4, that's actually where this parabola would just touch the x-axis in one spot. Most of them, they go through and they hit in two spots, like the previous one. But in this problem, it's a double root where the vertex is on the x-axis. The vertex is the x-intercept. All of this graph stuff, that's just a little bonus for you. That's what you get in Algebra 2. All right, get over here to this last one then. This is a positive 1w term, so that means my two factors are just going to be 1 apart when I do my factoring piece on that 30. It's a minus 30, so that tells me there's 1 of each. And then 1 and 30, that doesn't make 1. 2 and 15, no. 3 and 10, no. 4 doesn't go in there. 5 and 6, there we have it. So now which one is the positive and which one is the negative? I get a positive 1w middle term result. That means I want more positive than negative, so that makes this 6 be the plus 6 and the 5 be the minus 5 up in those binomials. So a positive 6 times a negative 5, that gives me the negative 30 term. And then the inside and the outside, the OI, 6w minus 5w gives me the positive 1w, so that checks. So if you just check the OI, that should be your middle term. And now we'll do our zero product property. Either w plus 6 is the one that makes the 0, or w minus 5 makes the 0. We've got to figure out both. So we subtract, and we get a negative 6 as one of our answers, and then we add 5 and we get positive 5, and that's with an or between it. So it could be negative 6 or it could be 5. Now, I didn't go through checks, but when you're doing the test, if you just plug in a 5, square it, do 1 times another 5, because you got to put it in both places, and subtract 30, do you get 0? Well, this is 25 plus 5 makes 30, subtract 30, that does equal 0. If we did the same thing with the negative 6, whoops, sorry. If we did the negative 6 and squared it, and then 1 times the negative 6, and then minus 30, we're wondering if that one would make a 0. This is positive 36, minus 6 is 30, minus 30 gives me 0, so they check. So real easy to check, just put them back into the original equation and see if they work. Now remember, when you're squaring a negative, that makes a positive. That's an easy place to make a mistake there. All right, good work. Hope you're doing well with this. We'll do a practice test on Thursday and then get to the real test after our 4-day weekend. All right, have a good day and do everything your parents say.